Welcome, folks, to another edition of On the Fridge with Fred and Matt and my dog T. Bug.
Yeah, yeah,
What
yeah.
it do, my
Hey, man, just trying to enjoy this weekend, man. Had a great time in Tallahassee, work done. And now we back down here trying to get this word in.
boy? Hey, man, I'm excited about, we got our first guest on today. We got our
Yes.
first guest finally, but we've been talking about it, and we finally got this dude, Kordell, to get off the golf course to come spend a few minutes with us, man. Hey, we got Kordell Stewart, a.k.a. Slash.
Slash.
We got some questions for this dude, Buck.
Hey, I can't wait to get him on here, man. We talk about a few things. I'm very, very excited about it. So before we get to him, real quick, I got a few questions for you.
All right, couple questions. All right.
One question, really quick. You just saw the games in college football this past weekend. There was a lot of upsets.
Yes.
Which one was the most surprising?
Well, of course, everybody gonna say the Vanderbilt Alabama game, 30 Vanderbilt beat them 40-35. But I think they handled them the whole game too. But my biggest upset, I think Texas A&M against Mizzou. They beat the dog out of Mizzou. Mizzou was ranked number 9th in the country.
Yes.
They got beat 41-10.
Yes.
They got ran out the stadium. They got ran out the stadium, dog.
It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
What about you? Who was your biggest upset?
I mean, obviously, you look at Alabama. You look at that.
Louisville, your old squad, got beat by SMU.
But I would say one of the ones I was impressed with, I thought Tennessee, especially with the quarterback, was having a great year, that they was going to make a run in the playoff. I still think they have a shot. But Arkansas, man, how they pulled it out. And they starting quarterback getting hurt, and they had to put in their backup, but they still got it done.
They still got it done. Hey, Buck, I know you went down to Florida State this weekend.
Yes.
I see my boy Warwick Dunn got inducted into the College Hall of Fame. Big up to Warwick Dunn, Doug Bizzle, way to go, big dog, way to go. But what's up with them Seminoles, man? Good God Almighty, they bad, dog.
Well, let me just
smashed at home again.
Let me just say that. When we said the starting quarterback was hurt,
he wasn't no good anyway.
But was nothing gonna spoil the night for Warwick Dunn. Going into the College Hall of Fame, man, we had a great time. I know it didn't turn out the way we wanted it to. There are some things that we got to improve on, right? Getting a little more variety on offense and defense. But I will tell you one thing that they did do. They played hard. They played hard. We didn't make a lot of plays, but at least they played hard. So you can start to build on, okay, are you giving me that 100% every time? The record doesn't reflect that, or the score doesn't reflect that, but they are playing hard. So
yeah, I guess. So, it ain't the Florida State of what we used to. But anyway,
no, it's not. No, it's not. And they're gonna get better.
Enough of Florida State.
Yes.
Enough of all that. We need to bring our guest on right now. Kordell Stewart, could you please bring him in? So I got some questions for this dude, man.
I tell you what, look at him on the side. I got some questions for him too.
How you
doing, no, Flash.
Hey, Slash.
I had to sit here and listen to this exchange of conversation about Florida State, which we know is trash right now. we gotta get away from all this.
Hold on, Stu. Hey, you got to Colorado.
This cynical conversation about Warwick Dunn getting his inducted to the College Football Hall of Fame. The Florida State Seminoles is trash.
Listen,
that's what it is.
Trash.
It took a former Seminole to get Colorado out the trash.
Which they were trash.
If that's what you think gonna change y'all being 1-5, they ain't gonna change. Because right now we 4-1. But yeah, we do have Brother Prime. We have our good friend, good man Prime up there doing a great job with my Buffaloes, and we needed it. I ain't gonna lie to you. Last year, if you look at what took place in the 23 season, we won 4 games, but we were in at least 3 to 4 other games that could have a few plays here and there could have changed it, and we could at least, worst case, had 6 dubs, but we end up with 4. And this year, right now, we're 4-1. Just came off the road playing against UCF. That was one of the best rushing teams in all of college football, averaging over 300 yards a game, and we shut that down. So we went on the road, got that dub. We got some confidence right now. Had a bye week this past week, but we got K-State coming up, who we know can really play some great football. And they are, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, they're in the top 20 in college football right now. So it's
all right.
It's some work we got to do. But we ain't Florida State.
But hey, Stu, we got me and T-Buck been wondering. T-Buck and I've been wondering, where do you get the name Slash from?
Yes.
Yeah,
who gave you that name? Yes.
Were you a fullback? Were you a fullback at one time? Fullback / quarterback?
Well, we all played fullback when we was in Little League, right? Everybody played a little bit of everything when it was in Little League. Right. But when I got to the league, it was a time where Neil O'Donnell got hurt, Charles Johnson got hurt, Rod Woodson got hurt because Barry Sanders gave him the shake and bake on that turf we had in Three Rivers. And in practice, because I wanted to stay in shape, I got on special teams on the kickoff team. I was L1 or R1, just run out just to stay conditioned, to helping out on punt team and obviously playing quarterback too. But I was catching the ball from Neil O'Donnell one day in practice. When I catch the ball, I like to simulate what the top of the route would be for him when it comes to receivers running comebacks, dig routes, post routes, hitch routes, curls. So I'm catching everything he's throwing to me. And before you know, he goes, Neil says, "Hey, Stu, if we need you to play receiver," because we were down, a lot of guys were getting hurt. Yeah. He said, would you go out and play? And I said, instead of me sitting on the sideline here wearing khaki shorts and a clipboard, I'm like, heck yeah, I help us out. So one thing led to another. I'm beating the defense in practice. I'm beating Greg Lloyd. I'm beating Kordell Lake. I'm beating Rod Woodson. And before you know it, my first snap in the game on a Sunday was against the Jacksonville Jaguars. It was 3rd and 15. We had Neil O'Donnell lined up on the left-hand side. It was 3-by-2 formation. They were having no one in the middle field covering me. I catch the snap, run upfield, rush for 25 yards. So the next week we play against Cleveland. I run from one side of the field to the other, throw it for a touchdown in the back of the end zone. Before you know it, Myron Coat goes, hi, we have a guy that can do it all. Myron Covey said, we got the slasher, Kordell, Stewart. And there you go. That's when it just took off, man. It was on life.
Stu was born since then, huh?
Hey, man, it was Slash ever since. Beating y'all in golf, too, by the way. That's another conversation. But let's
yeah, we're going to say that for the end.
We're saying that for the end. We got some money for the end. So Stu.
Yeah.
Michael Vick just came out with this evolution of the black quarterback, right?
Right.
And I questioned you before, we talked as friends, whatever, like, how in the world can he not have you on there? Because you pretty much one of the inventors of slash.
Right.
A running quarterback. But
so
for whatever reason, he didn't. Tell me about
it. Let me say this with education as opposed to feelings, right?
Right.
So when I saw Michael Strahan, because I think he's one of the executive producers.
Yes, right.
I think he was on a Thursday night game and he was speaking on. I think it was shown through Prime Network, and so Prime Video, whatever. And I think Mike was saying how they were celebrating the evolution of the black quarterback because look at the players that are playing in the National Football League that are black quarterbacks. If you think about week one,
15 quarterbacks. 15 starting black quarterbacks.
There were 15 starting black quarterbacks week one.
That
is tremendous. That is something to be excited about. But for me, from an adversity standpoint, and all the things that all the black quarterbacks had to endure, going all the way back to Joe Gilliam when he played in Pittsburgh, he was the best quarterback on that football team in the 70s. For whatever reason in its time, he didn't get his opportunity to continue that run of being successful. Terry Bradshaw get the brunt of all that celebration. And before you know, because if you look at what Terry Bradshaw did in comparison to Joe Gilliam and how he threw the football, there was really no comparison.
Right.
So whatever direction they choose to go in with that story, I'm only going off what I see and what I've understood. Speaking to Joe Gilliam's dad, Mr. Gilliam, it was something that has another, I would say, platform to talk on. But when you don't have the Randall Cunninghams in there, if correct me if I'm wrong, because I didn't see it. You don't have the Jeff Blakes in there that played for Cincinnati. If you don't have myself, who was a true triple threat, not a dual threat, but a true definition of a triple threat, 75, 35, and 5. That's 75 throwing, 35 rushing, and 5 receiving. There's not a player in the National Football League's history that played quarterback in the history of the game that caught 5. So you would think I was supposed to be in, because my story was so controversial. And this is just me playing the go along, get along game, right?
Yes. Why was it controversial? Why do you think it's so controversial?
Well,
because they weren't ready for a black quarterback?
Well, no one was ready for my style. There's no way possible in that traditional city in Pittsburgh. Yes. You're going to say that I'm going to catch the football against Merton Hanks, Chris Dishman, Blaine Bishop, one-handed catches in the end zone, and you think I'm going to go and play a quarterback position just as good where I'm beating John Elway, going on the road and winning in the old Foxborough from behind, beating that team in New England Patriots to go have home field advantage throughout 97. You think those people who were not prepared and ready to cover that style and say that this dude is an all-out quarterback? Heck no, they're going to put me on the bench and bring in Kent Graham and Mike Tomczak to say, if he's missing throwing passes like that, I know the pure quarterback, quote unquote, can go in and do it. And they saw how hard it was, and it never worked with them neither. So, it's a dialogue that we can have for a long time. I know we don't have time, but you have to take it for what it's worth. You have to truthfully, as Michael Strahan said, truly celebrate. Because think of the guys that were on there, right? You had Jalen Hurts, who was a first rounder. You had
he wasn't. He was second round.
Who was the second round pick overall. You had he was second round, but you had Cam Newton, who was number 1 overall. You had Michael Vick, who was number 1 overall. You had Donovan McNabb. You had Patrick Mahomes, who they said couldn't do it. Look where he came from to where he was. Look at what happened with Dak Prescott, where he was drafted.
Fourth round.
Took Tony Romo's job after an injury, and Jerry Jones never let him off the field. So there's a lot of great stories if you're going off of what Michael Strahan said about celebrating a quarterback. To say, back in the day, Doug Williams asked the question, when did you know you was a black quarterback? That ignorant bull crap. You know what I'm saying? You asked that question. Like, seriously, is that the question we're going to ask a player who just won a Super Bowl for the first time in the history of the game, be done by an African-American? So I think because there's been so much negative information and derogatory statements and conversations about the black quarterback, I respect Michael Strahan for saying, let's celebrate it. But you can't hide the history of how that thing happened. So, and to your question, I just say they may do a do-over, or maybe a second episode to make sure we get the right guys in there, because you can't leave them out.
Well, not the right guys. All y'all are the right guys, but they definitely need to have you in there. And Randall Cunningham, Rodney Pete was in there.
Yes.
But
there are a few more.
You got to have them in there, man.
You got to have them in. You got to have them in. And it's almost like the numbers are very small in the sense of the years of the league and how many teams you have. But when you think about how many that's gone through the struggle in the sense of the narrative that you wasn't smart enough, or if you're too athletic, you need to change positions, there's only so much you can put in there, right? So you're going to leave out a few. It just so happened they did leave out Randall. They did leave out myself and the Jeff Blakes and a few other guys. But I think the story that's being told, I think, is understood. As you said,
it was good. Great. It was good. I really enjoyed it, but I was disappointed when I didn't see. They did a hell of
They did have your pitch on there a few times.
One time.
They didn't let me talk about it though. I got something I got to say. You understand me?
You got something to say.
You got something to say.
That's right. So it's all good, man. It's everything has its time. There's some stuff working in the background when it comes to being able to tell that story. We're going to leave that until it's time for it to actually happen. But, it's the story's still not done being told.
Absolutely not.
It's going to go on continuously. And that's just one moment where we were able to capture, as Michael Strahan said, the positive side of it, which is the celebration of it. And looking at the first game in the regular season in 2024, there were 15 African quarterbacks starting the National Football League. And we're not even counting the Josh Allen that's mobile, right? We're not even counting, if you want to go on and talk about Aaron Rodgers that's mobile.
Wait. He ain't that mobile no more.
They like to say that though, right? But I'm like, if they jump on board to say he's not who he once was and charge him for what he is today, I don't think the expectation would be that high with the Jets. But again, that's another conversation. But you see how the game has evolved, right?
Yeah.
It's evolved to where mobility matters now.
Absolutely.
Well, I would add to that too. Even the backup quarterbacks. You look around the league, you look at African-American quarterbacks being the backup. So you're not just talking about the starters. When somebody go down, you got the Russell Wilson and the Justin Fields out there battling. And
that's crazy, right? Yeah.
But moving forward, I wanted you. We're gonna talk about this. I know we done jumped all around. The miracle at Michigan is like you trying to beat me and Fred on a golf course.
Yeah, it's similar to that. It's similar.
Tell us
Y'all dirty on y'all own show as co-host. Y'all ain't no good.
How far was the throw, and what was the probability of him actually catching that? And then we're gonna transition that to hitting them clubs, man.
I think I know the answer. It was 74 yards.
See. This is the first when when asked this question that it was asked the right goddamn way. Excuse me. You understand me? Because you know what you asked me was how far. Everybody else like to tell me from what they can read that it was 64 yards. You know how many more yards than 10 yards to throw the ball that far? And just think about if you watch that play. If y'all have an iPad next to you and you take your eyes away from the camera,
I've seen it.
And you look at the play, if you watch the timing of the throw, meaning we had Trevor Price coming off the edge, Tony Bird and Rashawn Salam. What I did do in this, there was 3 men dropping, 3 men rushing. From the nose tackle to the end on my right-hand side, they weren't trying to get upfield too fast. They really were in front of me. It was Trevor Price that was really working his butt off to try to, pause, as we like to say, working himself to death to try to get to me. And I purposely stepped up in the pocket to reroute his rush. So now that keeps everything in front of Rashawn and everything. I was doing that just playing with it because I needed time. And so when I came around it, in order for that ball to get there had to be not velocity in the air. There had to be velocity going forward and in the air to be able to almost beat them to the point. That was 74 yards, and I had to buy the proper time. Trust me, that was fate. That was God's, grace on that play to give me a chance to let it go. I know I could throw it far, but to do it in that moment, at that moment in time where everybody was tired, don't get it twisted. I just hit my hand on someone's helmet at halftime throwing a helmet pass, so I had tape on my fingertips and threw it from the minus 26-yard line with the help of my offensive line and just gave it all I had. And Blake Anderson, number 5, our receiver, he was, very disruptive in the front of that tip. He ended up tipping it up, and guess who was covering Mike coming around the backside trying to get Ty Law, your teammate Buck, and all of a sudden he comes down with the catch. And I mean, if you can't draw it up any better than what you think a Hail Mary pass is, go and draw this one up. This is the one that we practice for us guys being in position, giving it time, but we wasn't doing it from 75 yards. We were doing it from
it was 74 yards. Quit giving yourself an extra yard, Stu.
Well,
you ain't that tight, bro.
We never practiced it that far, right? We never practiced it from afar. 70, 75, we did it from the 50-yard line, never outside of that. And so to make it happen in the big house,
it was special. It was special.
That play will never, ever, ever be erased around September 24th of every single year. Whatever that weekend is of football, they're going to have to talk about it because it's never been done that way, ever, in the history of the game. And my arm was hurting. People want to say 62 yards from line of scrimmage. God damn.
It was 74. I went back and did my research. It was 74, and that was one hell of a throw. But Stu.
Yes, sir.
Stu.
Yes, sir. Talk to me.
Question, Stu.
Go ahead.
I beat the brakes off you in golf the other. Tell the people how I beat the brakes off you now, Stu. What happened? Stu, where your game at, Stu? Are you close?
It's in Pittsburgh.
Right. Well,
hey, no, it's in Colorado with the Hail Mary.
Because I'm going to need one, ain't I? Let me say this.
Hey, Stu, where your game at? Where your game at, Stu?
You still owe me $35. Let's just get that out the way. Until you give me my $35 to beat me on Creekside at Golf Club in Georgia, none of your wins are valid. None of them are official. They all unofficial. So I don't know what you're talking about.
I try to pay you pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters. You won't take it.
Fred, you can buy me the biggest steak dinner in the world for $175. That still ain't me getting my $35. You know what I'm talking about? So let me say this into you. Let me say this into you. You know, when you going through the process of trying to figure certain thing out, you start dealing with the tinkering and You know,
here we
you start
go. Here
messing
we
around
go.
with this, that, and the other, and before you know,
Yeah.
you start digressing, and before you start thinking about it instead of opposed to just reacting to it. I give you credit, Fred. You come a long way. You know, you break every club in your bag. Out of 6 rounds, every club is broke in your bag, including the putter, because you break every last one of them. But
I come back stronger. Stu, I come back stronger.
You got something working, Fred. You got something working.
72 with a 3-wood against you.
Yeah, you win 72 on your golf course. You know, that's a left-handed golf course. There's a left-handed player's golf course. You know, it's for left-handers. It ain't for right-handers.
Get that little draw. Get that little draw.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
You've been around it. You've been around it, but
I beat Buck. Hey, I own Buck too. I own both of y'all. Buck, stop lying. I own you, Buck.
We getting close. We ain't played in a while now. We getting
I own you though. I own you. The last 4 years, I done beat the brakes off you, T-Buck.
So here's the question I got for you. Buck, this conversation for you. All right. This is what I said. All these dudes out here that's former athletes in their respective sport. If you're so darn good, why don't you take it on the tour and play these little mini tournaments on Mondays and see these little short 5'5" little dudes out here hitting these drivers 30 yards past you, and then come talk back to me.
I'm gonna do it. Hey, I'm gonna do it, dude. I'm gonna do it.
See, I'm getting older.
They have qualifiers on Monday. You saying they have qualifiers on Monday? Well, hey, man,
that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I'm definitely gonna do that. I'm doing it.
Pretty bad.
See what Fred do. Fred talking your backswing, he talking your front swing, he talking your middle swing.
Stop lying, man. Stop lying, Stu.
He yelling and screaming. He talking over. Hit the dang on ball. My son can hit the ball, and I got to hit the ball over a creek that's ever been at 300 yards out there, and I know I can't get over there. So that ain't no good.
Hey, man.
Buck, when the last time you beat him, Buck?
It's a long time.
He hadn't played a while. I want to say 2 times. Had to be. What's this? It was in the spring.
Last year.
No, it was this year. Spring. It was
no, you beat me twice. That's a lie. Buck, stop lying.
Yeah.
You ain't beat me twice.
So spring of 24.
No, he didn't. Hey, Stu, he lied.
Yeah.
Stu, he didn't.
One time, he said twice. One time.
One time.
Stu, he's 1-12 this year. Last year he was 2-15. The year before that, he didn't beat me at all.
What's my record?
Like bad news bear, boy.
Fred, what's
You
my
like
record?
bad news bear.
What's my record against you, Fred? What's my record? I'm 1 and what?
You ain't won nothing. you got that zero. That
Fred, you know what they call? You know what they call mine? I'm gonna look in the camera, look at dead in your eye. $35.
Hey, Stu, man, I know we can go on about
yeah, we
golf.
can.
I know we do that, but I know we want to wrap this thing up, man. I know Fred gonna say I appreciate you coming on.
Being our very first guest. Stu, you number uno, Stu.
For sure, man.
And you brought the heat, you brought the funk. I'm glad. I hope you had a chance to articulate and explain some things that you wanted to. Yep. And I just want to say I appreciate you. And I'm gonna see you soon on the golf course.